Back in Leading Edge, talking about the thorny and troubling issue of domestic violence, often domestic and sexual violence in intimate relationships. Also talking about an opportunity. Well, first of all, Caroline Lippert is along today. She's embarking on something called, and it says right there on your shirt, the 4x4x48. Folks, this is running 4 miles. Oh, I could do that. Stay with me. Every 4 hours. And doing that for 48 hours. This is a Dave Goggins thing. A lot of you have read him, a Navy SEAL guy, ultra marathoner. He's a native of Buffalo. And for you, this started simply as a training program, I think, Caroline, but then you found a way to help others in the process. Tell me about it.
Right. I've been a fan of David Goggins. He kind of motivated me to get into fitness. But I think what connected was in his book, he talks about being a child in domestic violence. I felt like he was right, and like I felt he was speaking for me. So I really connected. So I trained for a half marathon, and then after I crossed the finish line, I'm like, what's next? 4 days later, David Goggins puts out the 4x4x48 challenge. And I was like, I'm going to make this about a fundraiser for the Cocoon and give awareness to domestic and sexual violence. So that's how this became.
Robin Guidera, I want to get you back in. You know, we think of good old Wood County. This is God's country down here. This is great. Great place to live. Yet the Cocoon gets some 6,000 calls a year. Works with some 600 survivors and their children. But really in about 10% within the shelter confines. The rest of the survivors, they're out there, aren't they, in the county, living and working among us in every corner. And your services are provided at no cost. How do you do that?
Well, a lot of it is through the generosity of Wood County and those living within the community, businesses, individuals, organizations, supporting those critical programs and services. As you mentioned, about 10% of what we do is provide shelter. The other 90% of the folks that we're working with living out in the community are receiving services as little or as long as they feel they need it. We have survivors that maybe, we work with 1 or 2 times, but we also have survivors that we've worked with for years.
Caroline, if people want to follow you or support you, which you're going to turn around and support the Cocoon in the meantime, how can they do so?
You can visit, I did a fundraiser website. It's thecocoon48.com. I'm actually taking people to donate per mile. I only have 13 miles left to fill in sponsoring those out of 48. Can you believe
Good
that?
for you. Well, that's just the generosity of others for a great cause.
Just amazing. Every time a donation comes in, I'm like emotional.
It's only the equivalent of almost a marathon per 24 hours, right?
Yes.
Oh, good luck with that. Appreciate what you do. If
and I'm doing it in the elements.
If anybody can pull this off, she can do it. We're going to leave it right there. Kathy Mull, thank you for what you do as the executive director at the Cocoon. Robin Guidera, always good to see you. She's over there working development for them, public relations, communications. And Caroline, thanks for what you're doing in support. Folks, help out. In the meantime, have a great week. Everybody out there, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you next week on Leading Edge.